Raise your hand if someone's downloaded your freebie and you didn't email them. We're all guilty. We've all done this before, but we're gonna fix that today. Because when somebody joins your email list and all they get is crickets, it's kind of like inviting someone over to your house and not being home. Or when you go into that store and like no one says hello to you, it's always like a little awkward. You see the person, sometimes you even make eye contact and you're like, do I say anything? Are they gonna say anything? It's their store. Like, it just feels weird, right? So when they come in, you greet them. You give them a little tour of your home. Here's the bathroom. Would you like something to drink? And make them feel like a welcome guest. And let's be honest, it's hard to trust somebody when they ghost you, even if it's unintentional. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix that by setting up a simple connection building welcome sequence inside of Flodesk. Even if you've never touched email automation before, I'm going to show you just how easy this is and walk you through it step by step.
You got mail. You got.
If you've ever wondered how to make the perfect first impression with those new subscribers, this is it. A solid welcome sequence builds connection and trust from the get-go. And Flodesk makes this so easy to do. If you've not done it before, you're gonna be like, why didn't I do this? Because it's so simple. If you're brand new to Flodesk and you really wish you had somebody who could just walk you through, holding your hands step by step for setting up your account, be sure to get inside my mini course, Start an Email List in 1 hour, where I'll show you exactly how to do just that. And if you're looking to set up a Flodesk account, I can offer you a pretty sweet deal as one of their partners. Get the link in the description below. All right, let's dive in. What you're gonna wanna do when you come into Flodesk is you're going to first want to go to Audience. And then you're gonna wanna come to Segments. Now, I'm not showing you where it goes to first because I can't show email addresses on YouTube or it flags me. So basically you're going to want to come to Segments. Once you click Audience, it's going to bring you to all subscribers and then come to Segments. Now you're going to create a new segment. So I'm going to create this and I'm just going to call it Test because I'm showing you this. You can see I've done this once or twice before. You can pick a color. I always pick pink because it's my favorite, but you can choose whatever you want. You can always change this too. So if you ever want to change the color, you can come here to these 3 dots, or you can click Edit and you can always change the name. You can call yours welcome sequence or whatever it's going to be. All right, so now that I have that, I'm gonna head over to workflows. So I'm just gonna create a new workflow. Now you can find a bunch of them within Flodesk here. So if there's one you want to use, feel free to. They have a lot of options in here. I'm just gonna start from scratch for showing you how to do this, but you can always use one of these and you'll see the exact same thing. I'm just gonna call this Test. You wanna call this whatever your name of your flow is going to be, so that way you have a good reference. I usually use the same name for the segment and the name of the workflow so that I know which one goes with which and that they, it doesn't confuse me later down the line. All right, so now that we're here, we want to go ahead and hit Add Trigger, and we want to choose that segment we just created so that it will connect to those, right? So that is when people sign up for this segment, that will put them into this flow. Now we're gonna hit this little plus sign here in between. Here you're gonna have email. You can put an email here. You can have a time delay. If you want to wait a minute before you send an email, you can use the time delay. And by minute, I mean minute, hour, day, whatever you want to wait here. It gives you can choose the actual date. So it's pretty specific. You can choose a condition. So in this case, you probably aren't going to go straight into a condition, but like you could do something like if they've clicked on an email, then put them in this segment or things like that. So that's kind of what condition is for. And then action is you can add them to another trigger. You can add them to a workflow. You can take them out of a workflow, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to start with email and then we'll work our way down. Now that we have this email, you can either create a brand new one, which means you would pull from any of the templates available to you. But personally, what I like to do is duplicate an existing. So I will pull one from an email I have already created. I'm just going to actually pull from one of these templates I have made. So now you can edit the email here and you can scroll down on the side here and it will show you where to change the subject line and preview text. Don't forget to do that. I would scroll down, but unfortunately my email address is there and I think that this will get flagged if it has an email address in it. So I have cropped it so that it won't be seen, but I just wanted to show you that. Next thing we can do here is we can create so typically if you're building out a workflow, you're probably going to want a time delay at this point. So as I told you earlier, you can absolutely change minutes, hours, days to whatever you want. You can choose certain amount of time. So you can choose a certain day of the week if you only want emails to go out on certain days, a certain time of day. You could also choose a specific day of the year if you wanted something like that. Do keep in mind, if you choose a specific day of the year, it is going to be true anytime anyone enters. So if they enter after that date, they won't get that second email. So just be careful with that one if you wind up using it. So let me show you how I would build out a welcome sequence from here. So I would create another email here. I'm just going to duplicate existing so you can see. You can decide if you want to already have created them in your database or if you want to just create them in each workflow. I sometimes like having a copy in my main inbox because then I can access it. But know that if you want to make edits to your workflow, you have to do it within the workflow. You can't do it in the main hub of your emails. It won't update in the workflow unless you come in and actually change the email or update the email. So just so you know. Okay, so let's see, we have welcome email, and then we'll wait however long your strategy is here for the next one. And then I'm going to do another time delay. I'm just going to do 3 here, but you can obviously keep going depending on how long your welcome sequence is. And as my welcome sequence strategy students know, I don't believe in an exact number of emails for a welcome sequence. I think you need to figure out what your goal is first and then give as many emails as are needed to get to that goal. So it really just depends on what you're wanting people to do and how many steps they need and what they need to know before they get there. If you're struggling to figure this out, I highly recommend checking out Welcome Sequence Strategy, as it will help you strategize exactly how many emails you need to have in your welcome sequence to reach your goals. Okay, so once you have it built out, again, I know these are the same emails. They will not be in a normal welcome sequence, but once you're there, what I like to do at the end here is I will create an action and I will add them to a segment, and I will call that like main list. And so I already had created one for this test, but if it isn't here, you could like to add it too. So you can add your segments once you're inside. Basically, the reason I do this is I make sure they don't get my regular emails until they finish this welcome sequence. So they're not getting emails out of the order I want them to get them in. Now, there are 2 schools of thought when it comes to this. Some email strategists don't mind people getting their regular emails while being in a sequence. And that's totally up to you. It really depends on your preferences. Let me walk you through conditions. So if you're brand new to email and this is like the first or one of the very first welcome sequence or sequences you've set up, I wouldn't use conditions because it can just get confusing and it really just adds a level of complication that you just don't really need at this point. I would just have it be a straight welcome sequence like I just showed you. But let's pretend you do want to use conditions, or you're further along in your email journey and you're ready to set those up. So if we want to build a condition, basically it's going to ask you, where do you want to move the steps? So there aren't any steps under it other than exit workflow. So it really doesn't matter which one you choose. But if, let's say you are putting this in between emails or something, then let's say you wanted this time delay, you may want it to be, okay, do you want them to go into a time delay if they have done what it is you are condition you're going to give it? Or if you don't, then you would hit no. So let me just show you this one. Again, it doesn't really matter for this example because it's going to do the same thing. So now you can do things like you choose your condition here. So you can add a subscriber to a segment. Subscriber has opened a workflow email. So if they have opened this email, you could say send them more emails. If they haven't opened it, you could do something different. You can say if they've clicked a link. So if they've clicked a link that you wanted them to click, you can choose the link in that email. And if they have clicked it, then they could go into the yes. If they have not, then no. And then finally, you can have it that they match a value. So let's say they've like you're wanting to collect their Instagram or something and they haven't put that in there. You could say like, please give me your Instagram or something. I don't use this very often, but it might work too if you're just wanting to target certain people by, city or state or something like that. And you can always add conditions as well. So if you want them to be in a segment and you want to then, if they've clicked a link, you can do both things and you can always delete them if you decide, oh, wait, I don't want both. So do be careful that you're, if you're segmenting pretty deeply here, you only have the option to say and. So they have to do both things. In this case, this may change eventually with Flodesk and that you could choose if you want the and or. But right now we can only choose and. So it would make sure that you want both things to be true before you confirm this condition, or otherwise you can just stick with one to play it safe. So now that you've done that, you can add an action. So let me just show you this. So you can basically add them to a segment or remove them from a segment here. So let's say if they're in a segment already, you don't want them to get a certain email, you could then say like remove from this segment so that they don't get those emails. Okay, and that is how you set up a workflow in Flodesk. And just in case, the way to get them into that workflow is you need to make sure you have a form. And so you can create a new form. You have lots of options to choose from here. You can come down here and kind of choose which ones. You can actually do crazy things here if you want to have a video. There's some really cool things you can do in Flodesk now. I'm just gonna for sake of showing you one. Oh yeah, this is their link in the bio. Let me just pull a full page just to give you an example here. Once you have created your segment, you can either do this first and then create your workflow, like I just showed you, or you can create your workflow and then create this. But essentially, them opting in to this page is how they are going to get into this segment. So we're going to choose the same segment we created earlier, hit save. And then you can customize this however you see fit. So you can click all over here and change things. You can add preferences if you want to know certain interests. You can add and make sure the image is added or not added on mobile if that is what you want. You can choose sizing, colors, all the things. You can really customize it however you want. You can add photos or a GIF, it looks like. I've never tried a GIF on a full page. I'm sure it works, but test it to be sure. And then you can also add your alt text here, which is great. And then obviously you can change fonts, colors. The sky is the limit. And then you have a thank you page. So you can either redirect them to a URL or a form. You can send them to a new form, like share it with a friend. That's pretty cool. Or you can just customize your message down here. You can also choose one of theirs. And then once you have this done, this is the link you would want to give people. Or if you're creating an embedded one, you can put it on your website, but you want to give them this link to opt into this particular workflow that you just created. And that's it. Your welcome sequence is ready to go. Congrats! You just created a powerful little machine that can work for you while you're doing other things in your business. This will help your new subscribers feel seen, heard, supported, and excited to stick around, and therefore far more likely to buy. Now, if you are inside my welcome sequence strategy, you already know that your welcome sequence isn't just about sending, hey, first name, here's a code, or hey, first name, get your freebie, or hey, I like pina coladas and walking in the rain. Because we know those things don't lead to good results because you sound like everyone else. It's all about choosing the right strategy for you and your business, whether that's booking more clients, nurturing your audience, or selling your offers on autopilot. There is strategy behind this, and I teach you all of my best strategies inside of Welcome Sequence Strategy. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, drop me a like, a comment, let me know. I'd also love to know how your welcome sequence is coming along, if you're feeling stuck or what you're stuck on, so I can create more videos that help you. And if you don't want to miss out on future videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, happy emailing.
You've got mail.